Hi, and welcome to the final session. Well, what was the final session of Against the Fae Queen, but we have just managed to achieve some sort of time travel genius or trickery and arrange for a further 4 sessions of this. Maybe 5, I have not looked at the calendar. However many Tuesdays there are in June, 4. But yeah, so I'm already starting this off as a huge success, I think, all around. I'm tempted just to give the players a, yeah, you killed the Fairy Queen this session, because that was just so good that we managed to organize something. But in between sessions, I did create some better time travel, like more expanded time traveling rules. And Horst, you said that you wanted to have a quick chat about that kind of stuff, maybe?
No, I was just mentioning that I've seen it. I'm not much of a game designer, so that's why I didn't give the feedback.
Oh, okay.
Otherwise, I would have.
Yeah, I think the one that I think I will switch over to it for the next 4 sessions, I think, and make that more meaningful and have the ripples and everything. We'll just wrap up this operation as it stands, I think, and repeat then. I have just done the first of my own ripples against you, which was my original way of pitching it. You know, the clock moves forward 1, so time moves on. Your window of opportunity is shrunk because you didn't go, you know, the conspiracy is acting whilst you're faffing around, and you know, you are in a race against time, essentially. That's what all time travel stories are, right? Judgment Day arrives sooner or later. My one question that I thought I would like to ask you all is the 2 intel that you've lost to have an enchantment. Now, it doesn't feel as though that's really, it never really felt as though a particularly strong thing. It felt like in certain games, there's been loads of intel floating around the table, and then it might feel like a cost, but it's really dependent upon you actually getting said intel. So my wonder was changing it for removing one of your lower stress boxes so that your stress starts is a minimum of 2. Because I know there was already a mechanic to reduce it from 6 boxes to 5, and I didn't want to crowd out that one and then add more complications. Whereas I feel that like starting at 2 in some ways is a benefit, because it means that a roll of a 2 on a stress die is not going to raise your stress for the most part. So how do people feel about that?
I'm still trying to work out mechanically what enhancements. I don't think mine's has ever added anything.
You've got to put a dead man's face on your face, Paul.
True. True. I might just want to see a bit more mechanical.
I mean, it's mostly a fictional positioning. I think. I
mean, Alan's got claws.
Yeah, Alan's got claws, so he never has to declare a close combat weapon.
To be honest, I didn't actually get a benefit. I shot her with a salt shotgun, and then for pure theatrical effect, slit her throat.
Yeah, but it gave. But you did get to. You know, we've used it in the fictional descriptions of stuff. And it let you pick the doorway into summer using your larceny skill rather than someone having to do that.
I'll be honest with you, Will. I don't think you should waste this game time on this conversation.
Fair enough, Alan. Fair enough.
Because I think that if we play through today, there's 2 weeks before the next session.
And we can,
in which we can have a Slack conversation, or we can have a.
I know, but you know, like when I asked what do people want to do for the next operation, I hate to nag people after I've asked them once. Whereas when I ask you right now, I get a direct answer and response, Alan. So I will just take that as a you've asked me, you've given me my permission to nag you if you don't respond to me in the thing, right? Okay, there we go. Anyway,
I'll be honest with you. I thought you and I would have a Zoom chat.
Oh yeah, we will do at the end of this.
At the end of these 4, these 5, whatever.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. Right. Anyway, on to the operation. So, at the end of last session, you did stop the Dancing Plague. You convinced DJ Bug to break the bargain, and you killed Rumpelstiltskin, aka Robin Goodfellow. However, time has changed or has at least progressed from where you originally started, because the newspapers tell you that notorious Russian crime figure Baba Yaga has been found dead in an industrial oven. According to unsourced reports, they say that the old woman walked herself inside and locked it behind her. So, yeah. But we are in the seek relief portion of the game. So I will go in character keeper order. Mr. Clock, is there anything you'd like to do in your downtime? I note that your anchor, Martha, is still in peril, but you don't have the intel to take her out of it.
Thanks for reminding me of something that I can't do. Thank you.
Well, I have to scroll down to see your intel, sadly. So
yes, I would like to visit my good friend Rabbi Kohut.
Rabbi Kohut at the 31st Street.
32nd Street.
32nd Street.
There's shysters on the 31st Street.
No one goes to the 31st Street. Okay. Yes. Cool. And you walk into the synagogue, and
Yep.
you know, he's sat there talking to another parishioner, and I assume they're called parishioners, actually. I guess they're not, because parishes go to a parish, but he's sat there attending another member of his community, and he looks up and sees you with a look of surprise, and he bids the old woman good day, and he says, don't worry about it, he's a good boy, he will grow out of it. And then he comes over to Thaddeus and says, I didn't expect to see you here, my friend.
We all need to seek solace in the wisdom of the Torah, and who better to give me that wisdom than a rabbi?
Who better to give you that wisdom than I, my friend?
Indeed.
But I remember our last conversation, it didn't, you weren't so willing to listen to what I had to say so much as what you wanted me to say.
Well, Rabbi, things have changed somewhat. You know, clearly you've read the papers. There's been things afoot in New York City.
Yes, Baba Yaga dead.
Indeed.
The terrorist attack on the Met Gala. It is grenades, they say.
So they say. Clearly, I'm nowhere near famous enough to be there. So until I see it with my own eyes, I'll take it at face value. But yes, the death of Baba Yaga, terrible. You know, infamous crime lord or not.
The Torah says we should not take pleasure in the deaths of others, but perhaps I am more at peace knowing that.
Maybe you and your parishioners will sleep better at night, Rabbi, knowing that Baba Yaga has gone.
Tell me, my son, do you have a family?
I do, Rabbi. I'm estranged from my family.
Oh, such a shame. Such a shame.
It is. In my line of work, maybe reconnecting with my family would put them at peril.
You know, I have a parishioner much like you, Mr. Württemberger. Right.
Mr. Württemberger?
Yes, he and his daughter. Well, they have a troubled relationship, but it gives me strength to see that they stay together.
Hopefully with your guidance they do, Rabbi. I think for me, the time has passed.
I'm imagining Mr. Clock is kind of like quite done up right, so that like you cannot really see how much of a fucked up sort of slightly monstrosity.
No, I will have one of those wide brim sort of ringlet hats.
Frankenstein monster style, but with Jewish sort of spin on it. I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, tell me, what is troubling you today?
Some of my friends display traits that probably go against the teachings in the Torah. I'm confused of what to do with them. Do I confront them?
Your friends? I mean, we live in the people have always had to move amongst the Gentiles, Mr. Clock. It is not, we should not judge them by our own standards. We would not like it if they judged us the same way.
True, but history dictates that we do get judged upon quite often, Rabbi.
Yes, a cycle.
So,
is that what your friends are doing, Mr. Clock?
No, they're good friends. They're good friends.
I mean, they're not hurting anyone, are they? That poor boy who died in that event at the club, his parents, what must they think?
It's hard to say. As you say, he was probably a Gentile. You know, who knows?
Yes.
I'm sure whoever killed him will pay dearly for it.
Yes, God's judgment will fall upon them, I am sure. But
I'm sure it will.
But tell me, my son, what is it in particular that you are asking for advice on? I think, yeah. So if we look at the seek relief from, look for guidance, you seek the advice of a mentor, you seek the advice on how to deal with your friends. Now, I think I, as the GM, need to know, like, who are you referring to here?
It's definitely not Professor Vogel. I think either Felicity or Gilgamesh. Clearly on the kilometer, Felicity is well ahead.
But didn't kill anything but a red
No,
cap last
so
session.
Felicity is showing contrition, but then neither did Gilgamesh kill anybody.
Yeah. Maybe
it's myself I'm seeking. Maybe I'm using the third person.
That's what I was wondering, really. Yeah. Yeah. So let's roll. Yeah, in fact, you and Felicity are the only people who have killed humans in this campaign so far.
Felicity's just saying that she didn't kill anybody at the Met.
No, but you did both. You did killed some goblins at the Met, but you did.
There were those, yeah.
You did shred your way through some Koschei mafiosos not too long ago, both of you. So I like the idea that Mr. Clock is definitely like, oh, a friend. Yeah, my friend. Yeah, he's having trouble with his teachings. Yeah. What's his name? Oh, Mr. Twok. Yeah.
Quack.
Quack, yeah. So why don't we roll the dice to see how well this goes down with Rabbi Koha. Hopefully, better than it did last time.
5.
5. Nice. So on a 5, that means that
reduce stress by 1.
You reduce stress by 1. What do they ask you to do to restore their belief in you, and how it draws the attention of the conspirator team or makes things difficult for you during the next operation? And I get to mark heat as are we all the way down on? Wow, we did lose. You didn't gain much heat in the last session, did you? And I did spend 3 of it to move on the time clock. That's why I was like, why is it so low? I think that woman that he was talking to before, she's lingering in there, and she's a notorious gossip, basically.
He wants me to take her out. That's no problem.
No, yeah, but she's going to know something about what you said, and maybe read something a bit more into it than maybe even Rabbi Koha would do. But so you're saying that the teaching of the Torah in particular that you went to him for advice about was in this sort of murder, death, kill sort of sphere, right?
Mm.
Well, I mean, again, it's a classic one.
Don't do it.
I think it would be to take the merciful route. If the Torah teaches us that we sometimes must do that is the difficult thing, but we should not make it our first or our second. Your friend, and he, winks at you as he says, "Your friend." Like, yeah. Your friend should try to speak, try to use their words, try to use their anything but violence. Violence should always be a last resort, my son.
Good advice, Rabbi. Good advice. I will pass it on to my friend.
Yes.
Hopefully they take
it. And I hope I'll see your friend soon.
Hopefully I can bring him into the fold, Rabbi.
Nice. Okay. And he says, and by the way, I hope you called my shrink.
I've dropped the card, but I will do, Rabbi. I will do.
Cool. Nice. So, I mean, that was much the same as Felicity's one before. I hate to repeat myself, but it's the same problem, isn't it, basically? So anyways.
Count to 3 before I kill.
Yeah. Wasn't quite as extreme as Horse save people. You know, he's not putting that obligation on you, but he is putting the obligation of don't jump to murdering people immediately. Yeah, or stabbing them, and that counts towards stabbing them in the leg and letting them get fed on as well, Mr. Clock. So
excellent.
Yeah, cool. Michael?
Yeah, well, I would like to spend my remaining in. Oh, am I muted? Oh no. I would like to spend my remaining intel to bet on a horse race that I already know the winner of.
Nice.
Or a boxing match, take your pick. And with the resulting windfall, I'm going to buy my brother, Peter, a rest cure in the Rocky Mountains and take him off the target list.
Nice.
Okay.
Nice.
And then I do need to seek relief from the horror because I'm on 4.
So you slip it in the envelope underneath his door? Like
it's not money, it's tickets.
Tickets, yeah.
And the tickets probably go to my mother because she'll get him on the plane.
Nice. Are there 2 tickets?
If I can have 2 tickets, that's fine. I mean, it doesn't matter.
I'm just wondering if a young Michael Enders maybe goes with his brother off to the Rocky Mountains to
to
look after him.
Oh, how interesting!
Yeah,
that gets the younger Michael Enders out of the picture.
Yeah, I'm imagining Gilgamesh like watching from a taxi, right, sat in the back, like as they go across to LaGuardia Airport.
With
like,
Peter on his crutches.
Yeah. And your mother like
kneecap.
fussing over and going like, "You'll look after him, right, Michael? Like you didn't before. You attacked him in that Brooklyn. What they did to my boy." Nice. So what do you do to seek relief?
That's a good question. And I'm not sure I have a simple answer to that. I think that
I can come back around to you if you'd like.
No. I think I need to reveal some history. And I'm inclined to do that with my fellow time traveler.
Nice. Okay.
Because we haven't used that since you rewrote it, and I'm curious how it goes.
Nice.
So reveal some of your history together. If you reveal something new about your history with an operating, oh, hang on.
So it would have to be some that would make Mr. Clock the operative you care least about.
It would, because he's not what I would call a nice person. And I would have much preferred Reaper or Holger to have made it through the gate of summer into the past with me.
I mean, is he even human anymore?
With Clock. Well, exactly. There's a little bit too much fairy in that guy.
Okay, so did I change that in the Keeper? I don't think I changed it in the Keeper, did I? No, I apologize. I think it's just in the playbook.
Okay, let me
Google Doc.
Hang on. Reveal your time. When a player declares something about the original timeline with an operator their character cares most or least about, describe. I think the first time I met Thaddeus, I think, is early on in the time of the plague. And Thaddeus was babbling about the possibility of time travel. If only we could go back in time, he said. We could stop any of this happening. And I kind of want to pin the origin of the efforts to change the timeline on Mr. Clock. This was, of course, before he was Mr. Clock. This is when he was still fully human Thaddeus. How does that sound to you, Paul?
Yep, that's fine.
Because that would play into your Sic Mundus, wouldn't it?
Yep.
Okay, so I will reduce my stress by 1. and I will roll the stress dice to see what happens with that. That is a 4. So on a 4, sorry, I'm always going to the wrong tab. On a 4, the other operator describes what this cost or will cost their character. They roll for stress. Or they choose to add something about their anchor to the time. Oh no, that's harsh because you don't have much scope with your anchor, do you?
Yeah, I mean, those are the. It's a game about harsh decisions, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, no, I want to check in with Paul before I proceed with this.
But they choose to add. They can choose to roll for stress, or they can choose to add to their anchor. So it's up to Paul, right?
Okay.
Roll for stress.
I figured you would roll for stress, but you know me, I would have thrown my anchor under the bus. Because then you get the open mission of rescuing them one day to be seen.
Oh, cool as a cucumber.
Yeah.
You see, this is what I mean. I say to Vogel. I remember when that would have driven him insane, me telling you that story. That this whole time travel thing is all his fault. And you know, I really fear that that's where all of this started. We're trying to correct something we caused.
How do we know? Yeah.
But now it doesn't faze him. He's not human anymore.
And I like it. And then on to Felicity.
I think I want to go chat with Professor Vogel. I don't know if we've actually gotten a chance to talk about the previous operation, which is now like 3 years ago somehow. What?
Is it 3 years later now?
They don't follow you.
The time jump.
Oh, there's no been no time. You've not traveled in time?
No, but you've talked about the timeline advancing.
Yeah,
You've
well, I
not
mean,
told
it's
us how
okay.
long.
Okay.
Oh no, but what I mean is just that I don't want to get into like it's been a month or it's been a week or whatever, right? Because then I get locked into a calendar. What it has been is that a significant event that changes your initial assumption has moved on. That's all. Like,
Gotcha.
So it could be 3 years.
it could be 3 years, but I did say at the start that the Fairy Queen arrives in a year's time.
Sounds
Oh,
good.
yeah.
Everything is
Good
taking
point.
place within 1 year, basically.
Where I got 3 years from. Weird. So yeah, I just want to go chat with Professor Vogel. Where do I find you, do you think?
I mean, spoiler alert, I think in my downtime action, I will introduce a new safe house.
Ooh, nice. So do you want to do that now?
Well, it will be under the university, I think. It will be something like the basement, like an unused part, half storage room with pipes running through the corridor and dimly lit.
Do you mind if I help you? Like,
underneath NYU. I like it.
Mm-hmm.
you mind if I help you like clean the place out or like?
Yeah, I like that idea that that we see a Reaper and Professor Vogel moving around furniture, and Vogel maybe like there's a bookshelf there where he puts the books that he rescued, so to speak.
Nice. So take it away, guys. I mean, remember that you're angling for one of those seek relief from the horror moves if you
Yeah. I gotta say, it was kind of easy not to kill anybody last time. I mean, there wasn't. Okay, there was like. There wasn't really anybody human that needed to be killed or deserved to be killed.
Does anyone deserve to be killed?
I mean, how are you doing with what your friend did? Like the one who just like stabbed the dude in the leg and threw him at one of the whatever the hell that was.
Mr. Clock? Well, I think a friend is a stretch. And I'm not even sure if he's human.
So you see my point. No one human that needed to be shot.
Well, Mr. Clock doesn't need to be shot. He's creepy and.
Come on, what was you told me? You don't kill anyone?
Yes, that was the promise, and I appreciate that you followed on your promise.
But you also asked me to save people.
Yes.
And to save that guy, I would have had to shoot your friend or your acquaintance. And that guy just threw him to the wolves.
Well, that was not something I would have done. And I think if Mr. Clock would still be human, he would feel guilty about it.
So you admit it.
Does Mr. Vogel feel guilty about it? Because I remember Professor Vogel being pretty cool. This monster is no longer going to kill me. It's going to kill this guy. I can focus on the mission.
Yeah, maybe a little bit guilty about the relief to not being killed, instead of feeling pity for the poor guy.
So, are we revealing some history together, or are we looking for guidance?
Like we are.
Yeah.
I was thinking about either looking for guidance or revealing some history.
That part is difficult because we are both from this timeline.
Mhm.
Yeah, but it can be. Well, you know what? I guess we can just revert back to the original move in some way here, right? Like,
or like history since we have met.
yeah.
Maybe you need both varieties depending on which combination of time traveler or not time traveler you're playing.
Yeah, I'm increasingly thinking that I would actually just have everybody be a time traveler, to be honest, because it just cuts out so much of the faff, frankly. Puts everybody on the same level. But I do like it, and replacement PCs would be from the present, right? But I think that, like, what I wanted to do with the reveal some of your history together, right, is it's the original time. It could be about your son, Hogel. Holger, sorry. I keep wanting to call him Hogel Vogel, which is a terrible name. Holger Vogel.
Terrible.
Yeah.
It's almost as terrible as Horst Wurst.
The way I was kind of imagining the timeline stuff is it's like fate. You know what I mean? Like, it's time, like, connects you together even in some ways that you don't fully understand, kind of thing. And so we can take that step back and talk about the meta conversation.
It could be. There's a chance that I dated your son.
Ooh, interesting. There's definitely a chance.
Like,
I think otherwise, if you're talking just in the conversation, it has to be like, there is no mechanic seek relief from just having a nice chat with each other.
Mm-hmm.
The mechanic is you get drunk together, or you lay into each other. Felicity says, you told me not to kill anyone, but you just looked the other way when someone got killed in front of you. You could have stopped that, but you didn't.
Well,
I stopped.
And that's also part of kind of the direction I was moving in. It's like,
but what I'm saying is,
around and bringing it up.
Choose one or the other, and we'll see how it goes. Right? That's what I'm saying.
We could. I think we had a lot of. We had enough stress. We could get drunk together, or you could reveal something about, I don't know, maybe visiting one of my lectures or something, or
Hey, did you want to find the bottle of whiskey that you kept down here secretly? Yeah.
I have a what's it called? Like old German schnapps brought on from the old country.
I try to make it a point when I'm not working to never turn down a drink.
That is a very good principle, a tenet that you should be proud of.
So would you like to roll?
I'll roll. I'm just rolling 1d6, correct?
Mm-hmm.
That's 4.
That is a 4. Would you like to use this as your opportunity for seek relief as well, Vogel?
Do I have two things? Like, can I establish the safe
Yeah,
house?
you can
and
do. Yeah,
secret lift?
that's yeah.
All right. Confront and relieve. So I indulge the vice as well. I
Yeah,
get drunk,
if you want
right?
to. Yeah.
Yeah. And I roll the stress die. I think stress. And it is a 6.
Oh wow. Well, you really have been craving that schnapps. But you know, so you get to reduce heat by 1 bucket, and Professor Vogel really enjoys that schnapps. This, you know, you've been saving that for years. It's perfect, right? Now, I think that the heat that is drawn is, you know, people hearing the German folk songs being sung out of echoing up the corridors. And the tattooed lady and the professor who stagger out from the side access thing and go off down the street.
I could imagine it's even like a polka where is it called polka? No, if you put your arms around the shoulders of the person in front.
Yeah,
and
conga.
we just walk out of the university singing loudly.
A 2-person conga line singing loudly. I like it. Yeah.
And at one point, I giggle, which is something that you have never heard me do. And I say, I can't remember the last time I was this relaxed. That's some good shit.
And the music is perfect.
The music needs work.
Nice. So, with all of that seek relief out of the way, the conspiracy stuff has got just
when
enough.
you say all that seek relief, I will have to go out and spend, you know, the remaining portion of my winnings on bad junk food.
You want to do another seek relief then? Yes.
I do.
Okay,
I do.
roll for it.
In difficult circumstances. That will take me down to, I'll delete the 3rd stress and roll the d6 to indulge my vice. Oh, that's a 6. Winner, as a friend of mine would say, chicken dinner.
It literally is a chicken dinner, right? It's KFC.
It's KFC. I like that. And so mark heat.
Yeah, and you lower it by 2, right? So
I lower it by 2, and I think that it is simply the bucket after bucket after bucket of KFC that is being delivered to this man, this sinister, it must be said, looking individual who just plows his way through it, and everyone goes away from the restaurant talking about it. And people who turn up at the drive-through, you know, they see people looking through the window at this guy, and you know, and so word comes back to the conspiracy that something
TikTok
very
guy.
strange is happening.
You filmed on a TikTok, right?
Yes.
Ordering
Brilliant.
5 buckets of chicken, and then they just go like, "Come on, watch this, watch this." This guy, he comes here, like, look, he puts it away, man. I'm like, "Woo, go! You can eat it," and you're just like, "People are watching."
Right.
Does it turn into a TikTok challenge?
Oh
God,
yes.
yeah. Yeah. It
Oh,
turns
you
into a
think
TikTok
5 buckets?
challenge.
I could eat 10. Yeah.
Cool. And I'm going to use that lovely bit of, you know, I think you all are going to gather together when Professor Vogel gets word, you know, tries to pop in on a cashier and finds that the antiquarian, her antique shop, has been broken into. There's documents scattered everywhere. It's all over the place, and there's no sign of Kasha, and she's not answering a phone because I have spent 1 heat to blow your contact there, which was a librarian, I think, right?
Yeah, like a shady antiquarian, I think.
Shady antiquarian, yeah. Yeah.
And blown means she disappeared. I can't use that contact.
no one can use a librarian contact until it's reassured, because in the weird circles, the weird and shady circles that Kasha moved in, the occultists and all of that, they've got word that Professor Vogel's questions can lead to bad answers for the people who respond to them. You can spend a point of intel to restore that contact to availability, basically. And health, because I liked Kasha. If you spend the point of intel, then maybe she's not dead. Who knows? You haven't seen a body, right? So
I fear that I don't have intel.
no, but you might acquire some at some point, is all I'm saying.
Okay.
Yep.
One question: do we have to establish traits or something, or elements of the hideout?
Why don't we do that now? That's a good opportunity. So you said that it's a disused storage area underneath NYU, dimly lit. Paul, would you like to pick who's vulnerable, what single thing reassures you, or why this isn't in this place ideal? Your dealer's choice.
It's not a good place because the amount of prying students, campus got huge quantities of, people with video cameras moving around.
It's a high surveillance area. Yeah, highly visible area. Okay. Lots of eyes. Puckett, would you like to choose one of the other ones?
Oh, sure thing. Which tab are we on again now?
Main tab, the safe house, row 80, column 80.
All righty.
Just past the smiling Mr. Vogel. There's a railway.
Okay. I mean, the obvious answer is who's vulnerable nearby? Lots and lots of students. Like this place is surrounded by high density civilian population. And there's a lot of foot traffic. Like this is just very non-ideal.
Yes, so the population of the NYU campus, essentially, right? Like you are in a hidden away area of it, which is what makes it even viable as a safe house. But anything that, the ways in and out do require you to skirt through some very populated areas. But Alan, what single thing reassures Gilgamesh that this place is safe, however?
Mr. Clock has trapped it.
Mr. Clocks.
The approaches to this space under NYU, the access has been trapped by Mr. Clock.
Mr. Clock's clever little traps in the approaches. Yeah.
How have we secured it to make sure students and just random folk don't get in here? And
I think
traps?
I think part of the conceit of it being this disused storage area is that it's like Professor Vogel's the only one who has the key to that that passageway, because otherwise, it would just be like the back room of somewhere. You know what I mean? Like it has to be somewhere that no one else gives a shit about other than Vogel, who's just like, well, this is my department. It's where all the fairy tales are stored, of course. Like, who else would have the key? Just me. Yeah, fire hazard, fire codes. No one needs to know about such things. Americans.
It's like the basement storage closet where Sheldon keeps his rip in space time. Oh, did that go over the head of no Big Bang Theory fans?
I'm tempted to just
never mind.
I'm tempted to just end this series now that I know that you're a Big Bang Theory.
Jesus, that is harsh.
I mean,
kick him now.
I consider them to be my people.
They're making fun of your people, Alan. That's the thing. But anyways,
is that just Big Bang or is that young Sheldon?
Oh no, just Big Bang. No, I can't do the young one.
Okay, I didn't even know that existed. But okay, cool. Anyway.
Time for me to have a group of 4 annoying physics graduates get slaughtered by one of Mr. Clock's traps, I think. But yeah.
No, I've run it. I've run the Big Bang Theory as Monster of the Week.
Yeah. Okay. Onto the power of story, the operation. So, what are the, so we have on that tab, who or what is the focus of the operation? Alexandra Koschei, Russian mob boss and likely immortal sorcerer. These are all free for you to roughly, fiddle around with if you wish, I think when we look at what the future told you, what you knew about the future is mainly that Koschei is, almost certainly Koschei the Endless, the immortal general of the Fae Queen, who was said to have been raised up thanks to the work that he did about bringing about her return. And these are the leads you have. Koschei himself is mainly based around New York, but he is opening a clinic in near Lake Chimagua in the Catskills. Again, time has moved on, so the clinic is finished. Construction is finished on the clinic, and the Koschei Foundation is recruiting for what would it be called? Participants, service users, something like that. People who are going to take advantage. It's an outreach program. It's supposed to help people get clean. It's going to work across all of America. An interview with Alexander Koschei in the New York Times is all about how, it's really going to help and put to an end all of these terrible stories that are said about his good name, because this is really
So the
what it's
mob
all
boss
about.
is whitewashing his money.
He's mob boss. I'm just a real estate developer. Baba Yaga, now she was a mob boss, and the city's better off without her.
Was Baba Yaga part of my boss's organization, or like allied with it or working with it?
Baba Yaga is a rival Bratva within the Russian mob. Is another rival family. I think we haven't really explored what your boss was. In terms, I've just imagined him as a general sort of assassin, maybe more with that name, maybe more closely linked with the Jersey Mafia and the Italians. But
yeah,
hey,
very much.
Everyone likes a button woman, right?
Right.
So, so that is what we have. And you know what? Because there's a chance that you might not ask the investigation questions. You might save everything for prep. That same newspaper story notes that Koschei's construction firm that built this clinic has acquired a contract from the city to renovate one of the tunnels, to do works on one of the disused tunnels underneath the New York subway. Tunnel, 2519, which to Michael Enders and Mr. Clock would be very familiar as what will become the liminal space where the doorway into summer will arrive. And one might recall that a Koschei from some point opened the doorway into summer and shot Holger through it before the door shut again. So potentially at some point in the future, Alexandra Koschei is going to open the doorway into summer from the other side and kill and almost scupper the operation entirely. So I guess those are your leads.
But is the target to take out the general? What do we think? Or is it preventing the door to open?
Why don't we have this quick discussion now?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Vogel will say the general has to fall.
Killed my boss. I'm on board with that.
It's not about revenge, and Vogel's obviously lying. It's about, taking out the strongest asset before we go for the queen.
Hey, 6-1, half dozen to the other, no problem. Same thing, really. I mean, I can kill him for revenge, and you can say that it's to keep him from doing something for the queen, right?
Well,
he's dead. Doesn't matter why.
It matters to me. It matters to me that we make the right decisions. Cold heart. Mr. Clock? Mr. Enders?
Is he really that bad? Maybe he's just got bad press. No?
Well, We're not killing him because he's bad. We're killing him because he's strong.
Maybe his future version's really, really bad and strong. Maybe his current version's a nice person.
Well, if
He's doing something good for terminally ill people. Who knows?
I think that Professor Vogel would be sufficiently familiar with the real life story of Koschei the Endless to know that he's not supposed to be a very nice person.
And I think Mr. Clock is teasing Mr.
Oh, I
Professor
know,
Vogel.
yeah, but
And
I mean,
Professor Vogel, with all the deficiencies in social interaction, does understand teasing.
I think I might get a little hot under the collar about this, though. Like thinking that Clock might actually be like that naive.
oh no, I think that level of sarcasm is. You might be an American, but you can still grasp that, I think.
Yeah.
Jesus.
It might
Willis
be
on fire today. So,
Sorry.
Good one. No, that actually literally made me laugh out loud. I thought it was a good one.
Gilgamesh. Mr. Gilgamesh.
We have to kill the general.
Thank you.
Then she has to find someone else to open the door, or maybe the door can't be opened.
And she will be less protected when we go for her.
And maybe in the future, if the general's not there, things are not as bad for humanity.
And for Trollbane, as you like to call them.
So kill Koschei.
I think that's our working operational objective.
Now, you know who'd have known a lot about Koschei? His fairy tale themed rival in the Russian mafia. Alas, yeah. So that means that where the target is, Koschei himself is largely based out of New York. I think finding the exact location could be a good investigative action, because pinning him down to a specific place and time. He is a mafioso figure, so like, short of attacking him in broad daylight when he's giving one of these interviews, it's not really like even the future can piece together where he is at any one given point. So that's a case of you just know that he's somewhere in New York with the rest of his operation.
But won't he be for the opening of the clinic?
My very point.
I mean, it's a very public execution almost, but still, it will.
Gas explosion.
There's a lot of heat, but we know where he will be. Through investigation, can we uncover a weakness?
Yeah.
Or is that? Yeah.
Yeah.
That is what Professor Vogel will try to do.
Okay. Well, does that seem like a good start for a move? And then, or should we call a break now and then do it afterwards?
Well, what I think would be helpful would be if we narrowed down. We know the target is Koschei. Yeah. So let's call him a politician criminal for the sake of argument. Where's the target? I'm going to suggest facility care hospital.
I mean, yeah.
So we are narrowing it down to the clinic.
Cool.
So the ribbon cutting ceremony.
That's what I'm thinking.
It's the most exposure.
Okay. And yeah, for a fact that he's going to have the Koschei Bratva backing him up. Okay, so there we go. The opening of the clinic, that is a given. Okay. So should we take our first 5-minute break and then come back at 5 past? Okay.
Works for me.
See you guys at 5 past.
Record.
So we have established that you're going after Alexandra Koschei, Russian mob boss and likely immortal sorcerer, at his clinic, the opening of his clinic in Lake Chimagua. in the Catskills. I will, by the way, accept any pronunciation of Chimagua as we go on, because I'm sure that either I or somebody else will switch around those vowels. And yeah, so Professor Vogel, Koschei the Endless.
So I think Vogel has been in contact with like the Russian diaspora in New York, and there's like a cultural center with probably like a small Orthodox church, and they have Vogel has expressed interest in their books for a long time, but now he sees the immediate reason to go there.
And you're gonna piece through the stories of Koschei the Endless, speak to
Yes,
people about like, oh, tell me
like
the story of Koschei.
Old babushkas combined with some written diaries from their grandmothers and rumors, stories.
Well, I think that's perfect for yes, Alan, I think that's where Shane got the name from originally. So much of this is just me being completely derivative. So, Professor Vogel, I think, would you like to roll your insight, I think, to you try and piece together like the similarities and the different stuff along with like your own tales and what you've been able to know about these things. And knowing that fairy tales are true allows you to sort of establish what might be true within these fairy tales.
Mm-hmm. So this is the normal die. The expertise, I
does
assume?
not come into effect because you cannot use your expertise according to the character keeper.
What is wrong with my character keeper? Something has to be wrong.
I can't remember why you wouldn't be able to use your expertise. So I'm willing to be benevolent and give it back to you.
Well, I think both of us ended last session on some desperate measures.
That is true. Yes, I re-rolled. A thing, so I can't use my expertise. What else? Stress is always there, right?
No? You always have at least one stress, yeah.
Okay.
Because you can't roll lower than a 1.
That is 2 dice.
Yeah.
No.
It's the stress dice if you want to include it. If you want your expertise back, you should probably include your stress dice.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So I rolled a 6 on my normal die, but my stress goes up anyways, I think.
No, because it has to be the highest die result for it to go up. But so you rolled a 6. That is incredibly good, isn't it, for a a 6? So let me add Koschei the Deathless to the Koschei the Endless to the Supernaturals. And you were looking specifically for, well, I'll give you his power, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's regenerate. And I think you can have that one for free because you already knew that about Koschei the Endless. And I think you were, I'll be generous and say you already knew what his compulsion was because you knew that he was a general in the Fae Queen's army. And so his compulsion is he obeys the Fae Queen. And the rumor is across these fairy tales, a little extra light that you get there is it's because he loves the Queen, that he is enamored with her. Like, it's not that he's just a loyal servant, it's that he's deeply in love with the Fae Queen and has awaited her return for millennia. But then that moves us on to deterrence. So Koschei is essentially hidden his soul outside of his body. He hides it in different, it's been hidden in another object. And his body can be damaged. It's not undamageable, but it can simply be put back together again. So a deterrent would be, I did stat up Koschei because I had a good think about how some of these more esoteric creatures might be. dismemberment would be a deterrent, because you can inconvenience him enough that he's got to stop and put his hand back on or his arm back on or whatever. And who knows what will happen if you cut the whole arm off and he doesn't get to put it back on again. But it seems safe from all the stories, it seems safe to say that over the course of millennia, this has happened to him, and he seems to be walking around with 2 arms and 2 legs.
And I mean, like killing him for good would be like a separate operation, probably to find the.
It could to find his soul, yeah. So the vulnerability that leads into his vulnerability, which is the hidden soul. Find his hidden soul. Which is said to be inside of a hair, inside of a needle, inside of a duck, inside of a box, on an island.
That narrows it down. How many islands are there? Like 10?
In the world?
That was irony.
But the old Russian woman chain smoking the cigarettes that you bought her, drinking the neat vodka, tells you. And it is said that he had a long relationship with Baba Yaga, trading secrets and knowledge, but he would always keep the knowledge of immortality to himself. But find his soul, and he is yours. So, okay. Professor Vogel, I think, has gained some valuable intelligence there. Again, a thing that it's like with vampires, right? Like declare the vulnerability of stake them through the heart. You're like, well, we all know that you can do that. So yeah, if you knew the Koschei story, I don't know how much news that was to you. But
yeah, Vogel staggers home with probably one too many vodkas, because otherwise he wouldn't get the information. And frankly, he enjoys having a buzz.
And that may explain why he marks intel and rolls for stress.
Oh yeah, because it's 6, isn't it? Yeah. So you mark intel and you roll for stress.
I have intel. I can save Koschei. Mark intel, roll for stress. And now I have 1 stress. Thank you. Rolling for stress means rolling the stress die.
Yeah.
And if it is higher than your current stress, stress will go up.
It is a 1. It's not higher.
It's not.
Professor Vogel is determined to kill the person who is going to kill his son.
Don't forget about that intel, though.
Yeah, make sure you mark the intel, because it's a good way. You can use intel to restore your expertise if you want, but you can just sit on it until you want to use it, basically. So then, let me loop back around to Paul. Is there anything you'd like to do?
Yes, I would like to contact the young lad that traces Elon Musk's jet, and I would like him to find out where Koschei keeps going. He would probably fly by private jet. So where does he keep going? So we could build up a sort of a diagram of places he keeps visiting.
Can I just check in here, Will?
Yeah.
Is the focus of the operation the clinic? Or not?
That'd be a very useful thing to investigate, perhaps, wouldn't it?
It's just that, are we now after the location of his soul? Or are we going? I think I'm pulling a Paul here and saying, we've got an objective, which is to end Koschei, so he can't open the door. But now we know we can't end Koschei without actually finding his soul. Is that a different operation? Or are we going to blow him into pieces and put all the pieces into different safe deposit boxes in different cities?
I mean, the thing is, if we blow him into pieces, then he won't be able. Like it seems to take time for him to put himself together. So he wouldn't be able to open the door, I think, is almost the objective.
I suppose that's my point, is that and unless we are going to discover that the soul is at the clinic, we either need to change the focus of the operation to somewhere else.
Oh, there's the lake.
And there may be an island in it, but to be honest, we could be chasing our tails. I think we need to decide, are we after his soul, or will we settle for pieces that can't reassemble?
It feels as though Mr. Clock's investigation was perhaps to work out where his soul might be, right? There. Was that fair to say? Yeah.
Because it's the one after Terran. I thought we
the weakness. Yeah. You can only temporarily take Koschei out of action. Whether or not that will take him out long enough to stop him from being useful to the Queen.
So you're saying we cannot permanently kill him?
Not without without his soul. Hence
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, if not, let's chop him up and put him in a cement mixer. A big vehicle one, because
I know a guy.
Lots of pieces in concrete.
That's what I need to be clear about, Will, because you've given us the lead of the clinic.
Yeah,
that's beginning to sound not very helpful. If the objective is to find, unless you are telling us with that lead that that's where the heart is, that's where the soul is.
I'm not telling you where the heart is or where the soul is with that.
Okay.
What I am telling you is that the clinic, who knows what the importance of that is, because no one's bothered to investigate it.
So, quick question here, like at a meta level, can we kill Koschei?
Find his soul and you can kill Koschei.
Okay, so killing him is on the table. It's not like he's got to stay alive for some reason or something like that. We can actually kill him.
We are in the what do we do next phase of fighting the conspiracy. What will actually be the most beneficial thing, and this is what the investigation skills turns are for, right? Is to identify your targets and to work out what your priority is, right?
I'm just making sure at a like out of the game that he can be killed. He's not just going to keep popping up. So
no, that's hence the weakness. He will probably, to speak out of meta entirely, if you don't use his vulnerability,
yes,
and you do chop him to pieces and whatever, right? Then he is Koschei the Endless. He puts his soul out of his body. That is the gimmick. It will inconvenience him. It won't stop him.
Will it delay him and move the timeline in our direction?
It will give you a ripple to use, let's say.
Could we change the objective then to, I don't know if Mr. Clock can just find the location of the soul with an investigative role, but imagine that it's not the case. Could that be the mission? Like we go to the clinic and find out where the soul is, assuming that somebody there knows, maybe?
If Mr. Clock wishes to investigate the location of Mr. Koschei's movements and track it down to islands, then that seems like a start in terms of working out where his soul might be. Correct?
And would that then shift the operation to that island?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that finding Koschei's soul and retrieving it is an operation in itself. Does that seem fair to say?
Yeah, I'm just thrown because we're now not operating on the leads you gave us at the start of this.
No, well, I mean, like in Fate of Cthulhu, the leads are ambiguous.
Okay.
In Fate of Cthulhu, you have the what you know, and then you have the bit in brackets, which is the truth, right?
Yeah.
And I wanted to retain some of that ambiguity rather than deliver it all to you. And then, as I see now, it will lead to these moments of not knowing quite exactly what the way to go is. Some things are easier, some things are harder, right?
I figured that at the very least that I would be at the clinic to provide a distraction, kind of keep his eye off of the ball while everybody else took out, his actual soul. And then it's like, oh, by the way, click, boom, bye-bye clinic.
Should we just do the investigation of Mr. Clock and then we
let's see where
Yeah,
that takes us.
Because we do redraw the objective normally, and when we do this in briefing, right?
Yeah.
We do the briefing, we do the intel, we do the whatever. I think perhaps like it's skewed slightly by the fact that you knew some details about things going in, you know. But yeah, so Mr. Clock, if you would like to, what do you think that is? Tradecraft?
I think out of the available skills, I think, yeah, there's, unless there is something that deals with, interpreting intel.
I think that's tradecraft, to be perfectly honest with you, is working out where people's, how they're trying to hide their movements and disguise it, and seeing through the sort of the tradecraft that they use to, identifying their dead drops almost, basically, right? Their secure locations.
Is heart drop. Okay, expertise and normal dice. Here we go.
Oof, that is a 6.
Roll for stress.
Roll for stress.
3. I think stress goes up.
Stress does go up, but you do mark intel.
Okay. And that's loads of extra info, isn't it? 6.
6 is loads of extra info. So you work out that Koschei, moves around New York, and he does have his own private jet, which he does use to go to the Catskills, which, given that it's only a 2-hour drive away, is ridiculous, large ass. But apparently Albany's got a small airport that he uses. And corresponding it with islands, that he owns a small island off the coast of Long Island. Like, that is Koschei's entirely, he owns it basically.
A bit like Richard Branson, but a bit colder.
Yeah. Long Island's, no, you're right, it does get cold in winter. I forget that New York gets really fucking cold in winter. Because when I went there, it was boiling hot. But yeah. So yeah, you know that he owns an island. Let's call it
Art Island.
Yeah, Art Island. Yeah, why not?
Art Island.
Well, that changes everything.
So is that what we need to proceed? So can Paul now ask you 2 questions about the island?
Yeah, sure, yeah. That's what you need to proceed now that you've decided that you want to kill Koschei. You know what I mean? If you wanted to investigate that clinic, that would have been a different objective. There are multiple routes towards changing the timelines. Most of that is like, basically the way I do the timelines is I choose what they're going to do and how they're going to do it. And I leave that open to you to decide, to find out, and I give you the leads to find it out. But the way you resolve that depends upon your investigative approach and whatever. And like, my change is that you can spend intel to make another investigation move. I'm almost tempted to have that be like, you could take a point of stress to make an investigation move or something, or maybe even just have you make 3 moves until we're done with the thing, who knows. Anyways, so Paul, would you like to ask me some questions about the island?
Yes. What's guarding the island?
So the island is only accessible by boat or helicopter. So, it's physically remote, but it isn't very far out from the shore. It's one of those islands that you could like see. So you could feasibly swim across to it if you wish to. It's just, why would you? So that's a major defense there, but it does also have,
Gilgamesh looks as if he's just come out of the water. Maybe he did.
The one I'll give you all that as one question. There is also, the Koschei real estate and security firm, which is a very thinly disguised branch of the Koschei Bratva.
Okay. I'm willing to throw the other question out to anybody that wants to ask a question about the island.
What kind of terrain is it? Like trees or buildings? I mean, if we can see the island, then we should be able to have eyes on it somehow. Optics, fly a drone, something like that.
Yeah. I think the island is it's quite sparse, thin woods with a few buildings dotted around it. Most of which are in like not fully complete. The only one that is complete is a large residential, like sort of like a beach house kind of place.
The information about the architect who built the house, that we maybe get the blueprints. Is that a question that we might ask?
I mean, given that Will's now told us, has answered Puckett's question, have we used up all our questions?
I'll throw in that you can get the submitted documents with for no extra investigation there. Whether or not that's true, who knows? Because you don't need to be a fairy sorcerer to manipulate the Long Island planning municipality.
Mm-hmm.
You need to be a rich mafioso. So you have the layout of the, fictionally speaking, the intended layout of the building there, and it is zoned as it's supposed to be at some point a holiday resort for very wealthy people. Yet somehow it's no construction has gone on since that first building was made. It's just all in limbo.
Probably some endangered species or something along those lines, tying everything up.
Oh no, it's strange. It's almost as though the Koschei real estate seems to build things quite rapidly, like this clinic, and seize the opportunities, but this island appears to be intentionally underdeveloped. Giving a good excuse there to be a heavy security force on the island. So that leaves Gilgamesh and Quinn.
Well, if I tell Quinn what I've got planned, that might influence what Quinn wants to do. I'm going to conduct a scrying ritual to find the soul, or to understand the location of the soul.
I was going to ask
Narrow
Tony
it
Thumbs
down.
to find me a duck, so that's a hell of a lot better idea.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we are working on the assumption it's on the island. I may not be able to confirm that, to be honest. But yeah, I'm going to harness the dark to investigate using a clairvoyant trance or scrying ritual. Yeah.
With a feather of a duck involved, I think.
So I mark stress. That's okay. May add their stress die if they're willing to take the risk. Well, I am. And currently I have no access to my expertise, so I'm simply rolling grey and green. That well-known.
But your stress has just gone up. Because using
Oh, yes, it did. Oh, well remembered. Well spotted. Thank you.
I always like it when I can tell the person who's made a game how to run.
Yeah, absolutely.
Its own game, yeah.
Well, by now, I barely remember how it runs. Okay, so I will roll all 3 dice then. And I think, what does this look like? I think this involves me sitting in the middle of a square in New York City, around which there are a set of statues. The closest I can get to a fairy ring.
Yeah, maybe inside of a fountain, so that you're on an island as well, in some way, safer form,
I'll go
like
with
you're
that.
surrounded by a ring. Like I'm thinking of sympathetic between the thing that you're looking for and the thing,
that's
right?
fine. I go with that. Yeah, so I'm standing under a shower in Central Park, under a fountain in Central Park, and looking like a homeless guy.
Man, this city, it's awful what they do. You see that guy over there? It looks like the guy did the TikTok challenge. Nah, man, he had money to buy KFC. No way it's that guy.
Is that the KFC? Is that the TikTok guy? That's a pair of 3s and a 4. Happily, the 4 is not on the stress dice.
Nice.
So I would like, can you tell me something that I need to proceed about the location of the soul? Now, you've told us that it's inside a hair, inside a needle, inside of a duck, inside a box on an island.
Mm-hmm. that the duck and the box, you know, you do this magic, and your eyes open, and when they blink open, it's like you're looking through a duck's eyes, you know, slightly further spaced apart than they would be normally for you. And it's very dark, and it is you're in like a mesh cage in a basement. And there's a man smoking a cigarette with an assault rifle on the table in front of him. And another man comes down the stairs. So you know that it is probably in the cellar of that building. Heavily protected.
Fine. Then I get to ask you one question.
Mm-hmm.
We know there's physical protection. Do I get any indication that there is magical or enchantment protection? And if so, what is it?
The man who walks down the stairs doesn't carry a gun. He carries a slender pipe etched in runes that look familiar to you from the future. So I'm going to reveal a complication. That is, there is an occultist on site.
Fine.
And as they
Okay.
talk about, hey, that Baba Yaga bitch is dead finally. Ah, yes. Well, they all danced to my tune in the end.
So that kind of pipe.
That kind of pipe.
So this sounds like this is all very Hamlin.
Mm-hmm. And I will put the Piper, the assassin for the Koschei mob, in the Faces and Places tab. Who put dead asset on the Faces and Places tab?
Who do you think?
Paul? You? Okay. I was like, it didn't sound like Paul, but
What? Just because I came up with the original idea of?
yeah, exactly. Yeah, well, that's what I
dead.
thought. Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
I've accumulated a full set of those since.
Yeah. I keep going back to the Miro board to try and find who was alive, who was dead, who was rescued, and copy it in from there. Cool. Okay, so Felicity, what would you like to do?
I think before I take this step, I want to ask people, how quiet do we want to be on this island?
I mean, personally, I think we need to be as quiet as we can till we get close to it, because I am worried about that occultist.
Okay.
So maybe an easy method of entry, that could be quite, considering you've got larceny, I think.
Yeah, I do.
Or intrusion. I mean, that.
I mean, my thought was call Tony Thumbs and say, hey, I know who killed my boss. I know I've killed who killed the boss. You know, get an army together.
I mean, that sounds like prep rather than investigate. But
the thing is, if we want to go in quietly, I mean, we can make a big mess and a big distraction and draw people away. But, you know, this is why I'm asking how quiet we want to be.
I mean, your plan of get Tony Thumbs to get an army together. I don't think you have that level of hold over Tony Thumbs. He owes you a favor, and he's a weaselly little, you know, gossip, basically. He's an informer. You know what I mean? Like, no one goes to the weaselly little shit. And when he says like, oh, boys, I need you to come together and fight the Russian mafia, they'll go, hey, Tony, go take a fucking walk, you know? You remember, like, fictional positioning. What have you established what do you have in mind, right? You can't just call on
Um,
anybody in the mob and say, like, I want an army of goons from a rival gang.
No, but he could get us a boat, right?
You could easily get a boat.
So
I think you might be better off using your intrusion or larceny. That would probably you get an extra die on just mechanically speaking.
we've already got. So we've got the blueprints of what's supposed to be there, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
If you really wanted to use that Tony Thumbs things, finally remember that he is an information broker. He can give you information
Like, is it accurate?
that is based upon like what he has pieced together from the criminal underworld talkings and stuff. And he does deal with members of the Koschei Bratva as well, right?
Fair enough. You know what? Let's go ahead and burn that because it's just sitting there and it's annoying me.
To be honest, everything that I give you from the present day is mostly accurate. It's just the future stuff that ends up being wrong. And having the blueprints is inherently, that's the official version. When you're dealing with the mafia, I wouldn't want to say that like
official,
it's
yeah.
official, you know?
Yeah, it's what was approved by the planning board.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But if you want to use Tony Thumbs as a information, what do you want from him?
I want to know if there's any other entrances or exits that are not on the blueprints.
He says, yeah, you know those Koschei guys, they're all like real heavy. They all you know, like usually they work in his construction firm, they work as muscle, and a few of them talk, and you know, they say, well, I'll tell you what, roll me investigate, Puckett, using your intrusion. And you've called upon your contact, Tony Thumbs. He will give you far more than you could have done, you know. Like,
okay, so I've got gray
without
I've got
having to go on
stress,
site, basically.
and since I'm using intrusion, does that fall under expertise?
It does. You don't have to use stress.
Don't have to, but I'm gonna.
Okay.
Look at that. There's a 6 on the gray die.
Cool. So mark intel.
I'm gonna do that right now.
And he will tell you that the Koschei mafia, there are no other ways, secret ways into the building. You know, that's the whole point of this place. They say that like they've spoken about this, you know, in bars and things, and they say that the boss is never going to build that place. Like, it's perfect because the state's happy as long as he keeps paying the taxes and he keeps filing the fees for it. No one's ever going to look. No one's going to develop. No, you know, like there are other rich places. He's got the perfect thing here. He can just leave it half developed for as long as he likes. But they're wondering why the hell they have to spend all that time out there in a place that's got, you know, one way into that basement and one way out.
Okay.
The building, though, you know, it says that basically there's always a guy in every exterior room. You know, that when they get in there, they basically like split up and go into every exterior room of the building. So no matter where you go in, there'll be at least one person waiting for you.
Okay. Does anything ever pull them out of those rooms?
Strangely,
like, is there
given
an
that
alarm system type thing? Or?
No, I can't. You know, meta speaking, I can't think of a good reason why a immortal supernatural would ever allow his men to abandon the thing that he wants them to guard when it's his key to his soul. But
Sure.
You can get confirmation that this is going to be a hard target. You know, what I will tell you is that the building does have a full Freon fire suppressant system. And it is wired with alarms as well. Almost as though Koschei wants to make sure that whatever's in that building stays intact, no matter what.
Interesting.
Does that seem fair?
Fair enough. And now I need to roll for stress, don't I?
Yeah, you need to roll for stress. I think maybe the reason that you need to roll for stress is that, like, whatever this looks like, it's probably going to involve a stack of bodies unless you can think of something clever. And you're trying to be better these days, right?
That's a 6 on the stress die.
So stress goes up.
And I don't get anything new from that, do I?
No, no.
Yeah, I think it's just one of those things. Like, I remember talking to Professor Vogel and how we're finally starting to kind of get along, and now this.
Hmm.
Because this just sounds messy and loud.
Yeah.
I can't even burn the building down to try to get people out or start a distraction some way.
I mean, maybe a bit of the stress is the fact that you know that you're going to have to bring Professor Vogel into a firefight of some kind.
Vogel's not looking forward to shooting people nor being shot at.
On the bright side of things, you could always, maybe this is when Professor Vogel turns into Willem Dafoe from Boondock Saints and starts yelling, "There was a firefight!" Hey, you
Okay.
did face off to us.
True. If you'd, yeah, it's the only thing I remember from Boondock Saints is that, to be honest. I'm right when I say Freon is like the gas, right?
Freon is a chemical compound commonly used in refrigerant, air conditioners, and freezers, known
You mean halon?
as chlorofluoromethane.
Halon. I think I mean halon. Sorry.
That's okay.
Okay. I'll
Because
just check whether. Yeah, I mean, you can breathe Freon. I'm not too sure about halon.
No, you can't breathe halon. But it's basically whatever gas they pump out to kill fires off, basically.
Well, I mean, there's lots of gases. I mean, Freon, it is used in fire extinguishers.
It's not important what it is. It's a suppression. It's a full-on like chemical suppression system. You know.
I mean, halon is safe for people to breathe in, as long as you don't spend too much time in there, because obviously you need to use it in places that are occupied by people to suppress fire.
Yeah.
So it's up to you, Will, if you want this to be stuff where we need a gas mask or not.
Yeah, let's say it's something you need a gas mask for. You know, just because it's cool for it to be something you need a gas mask for, isn't it? Frankly,
Wearing a gas mask is always cool.
Yeah, I just always flash back to the Terminator 2.
We also need oxygen tanks, though.
Oh no, let's not get too complicated on that end.
Okay.
Well, the gas mask counts as having its own limited oxygen supply or something, right?
Okay, fair enough.
It is literally like in Terminator 2 where they put on the gas mask after the fire suppressant system goes off. And you know what? I'll allow that result to have complicated. Where's the gas mask? There's something poisonous in the atmosphere. Potential. I reserve the right to change it if it doesn't happen, but it's there. And I get an extra complication because capture is marked, right? Oh, capture is not marked because I spent the heat. Okay, so let's review the operation as it stands, right? And then we'll go into it. So we know Alexandra Koschei is still the focus. Heart Island is the location that we've settled on. Thin woodland and a few buildings, only the beach house is complete. The Koschei Bratva is heavily guarding the area. There is also an occultist on site, the Piper. The soul is inside of a hair, inside of a needle, inside of a duck, inside of a box on an island. The box is the cage, obviously, you know. It's heavily guarded, and there is the building that it is in is filled with all modern technologies to keep the building from burning down, and is rigged and is filled with, you know, a decent number of Koschei goons at any one point, as well as the occasion, you know, like patrols on this small island. You are looking at what is this, you know, under the guise is a half-constructed site with the security detail. In practice, is essentially like would make a really good mafia location, but apparently they don't seem to do any actual crime out of there. Did that all seem good? We're all on the same page here for that?
Yeah, but I do
So-
want to pull Professor Vogel aside before we kick things off.
Quinn.
Professor, listen, there's not really a nice way to do this.
You could use, I don't know, some kind of these darts that, sedate people.
You know,
They only exist in the storybooks, Professor. What do you think this is? Some sort of fucking fairy tale?
Well, fairy tales are true, apparently.
listen. All I can tell you is that the people on this island are like me. There's not going to be any civilians out there. It's going to be people who get paid to do bad things to good people. Sometimes they get paid to do it to bad people, but usually good people.
So are you one of the bad people who do bad things to bad people then?
So I'm trying to be.
Well, I know that you promised me not to kill a civilian, and I'm not your consciousness. Your consciousness belongs to you. And if you can live with that, probably has to be done.
I can not only live with this, I'll sleep just fine.
Well, promise me to not enjoy this then.
I never enjoy this. It's just necessary sometimes.
Felicity,
But
the
you need to have,
impossible way that your boss was killed. Now, we never detailed that, but is perhaps the impossible way that your boss was killed something that, say, the Pied Piper may have achieved?
I mean, I can't imagine any other reason why the footage would have him, like, and there was security cam footage, and he just seemed like he was dancing out of the door of his penthouse onto this, this nice patio that he had, and then straight off the edge.
Nice. I was gonna go with he chopped his own head off, but yeah, I like that even more. Yeah. Cool. Sorry to interrupt, but I wanted to make it a bit personal for you as well,
Yeah. But Professor, listen, it's not going to be amateur hour out there. Everybody needs a gun. Even you.
I know how to shoot a gun.
That's good.
I'm not sure I'm good at hitting people though.
Look, even if you just shoot near somebody, that might be enough to make them drop into cover and make it, and maybe it'll give one of us a chance, Just don't shoot anybody that you're with. That's the important thing.
I will remember this.
Would either of you like to engage with Seek Relief here?
I'm actually trying to get my stress up if possible.
So would me saying you need to have a gun and you may need to kill somebody have given you a reason to roll for stress?
I don't think that it works that way mechanically.
You know what? I'm willing to indulge in any great situation where the player says that they're willing to put the character through the moral or metaphysical crisis and roll for stress.
It's an interesting flip of Seek Guidance. Take this gun. Don't ask any questions. Take this gun.
Take this gun and use it. Yeah.
I mean, this is a stressful situation for Vogel because his military career has been like 30 years ago.
Yeah. I mean, I personally, Horst, I'm like, when we played Delta Green, I was like, can I roll for stress, please? Can I roll sanity? Because I think that like it should always be in the player's hands to say when they do it. The only problem is that a lot of players don't push themselves into that situation. So you do it.
That is different because here the stress will give me the
A benefit,
ability,
but only a small,
benefit.
but at a cost. If it raises, it's at a cost. So do it, man. Like, I think that it's perfectly, you know, what's stressful for Gilgamesh is not what's stressful for Professor Vogel.
Definitely
I mean,
not.
and what's stressful for Mr. Clock is definitely what's not stressful for Mr. Vogel.
I've just told you your idea about, like, you know, knockout gas and darts is, we're not going in there with tranquilizer darts.
Yeah.
No.
Roll for stress. Roll for
Yes,
stress.
I did. My stress goes up, and
Stress goes up.
I can use the thing. Where is it? Can be used. Yay.
I'm just sad that you've never revealed anything about Holger. So I can throw the present day one under the bus as well as the future one.
I always forget that he is alive in the present and obviously a potential target. For me, he's dead in the future, but that obviously.
Yeah, I like the idea that Professor Vogel has been keeping it completely compartmentalized to avoid any risk to his precious son.
And to be honest, the rest of us would encourage you to do that, because I'm not at all sure what happens if they take out the current day Holger. That could mean that none of us got through that doorway.
Yeah, because Trollbane's the crux of the resistance, right? Like it's like John Connor, basically. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
if you throw John Connor under the bus, the future is screwed.
Yeah, I like that.
I thought we just trained Mackenzie Davis.
Okay, so should we take our last 5-minute break? Go into the operation? Okay. I will see you guys back around 9 o'clock. So Heart Island is the objective, is the location of our operation. The soul of Koschei hidden in a hair, inside of a duck, inside of a box on an island, inside of a needle, inside of a duck, inside of a box on an island. I actually removed 3 inside of things from Shane's original description. So, and I guess the question now is, what's the starting approach, that we have here? Now go to Mr. Clock, who is sees how all the parts come together to lead, I think, this stage of like, what's our plan, guys?
I think we should move to the island, not by speedboat, get to the island, steal some access key cards off the patrolling guards, and then go in.
The way I've described it is that no matter what your access key card is, you will be coming up against a human. Like Koschei
so there's no point in access key cards.
No, what I'm saying is that like Koschei has done, you can game every system apart from the one that has a guy looking at it constantly, right?
Unless
it's a hard target.
Their face.
Exactly, Mr. Clock. So if you want to do the prep action is getting onto the, like your first roll is essentially getting onto someone can make a roll to get onto the island. In whatever way, bringing along the rest of the team, like do something else with a boat to try and get it past the patrolman or whatever. What the time is that you're approaching on, like we just need to know how you're getting onto the island as a group and then what you're doing from there.
I would like to call on a contact, please.
Oh, yes.
I want to call on Agent Rowan.
Agent Rowan's been dreading this call. She's been trying to forget about the time-traveling future people because Rook's been asking some awkward questions about what happened. But yes.
Yeah, well, now it gets serious, Rowan.
Shit.
I need a boat. I need an untraceable boat to get us on the island, to get us on this island at this time, and to get us off.
Do you need someone to drive it? You just need the boat.
And I think that that Enders will raise an eyebrow as if to say, "Why do you think I came to you?"
You need someone to drive it.
I need you to drive it, Rowan.
Oh, fuck. Oh, listen. Rook's better at this. I'll bring him in, okay?
If you can find...
I'll bring Rook in on this, all right?
A way...
He was Navy SEALs. He trusts me.
If you can find a way to bring Rook in without freaking him out and having him trying to stake us in some kind of screwy Delta Green anti-vampire approach.
Yeah, just don't show those little toys that you've got there, okay?
Do you mean these?
Holy shit, wait, you're the guy off TikTok. Man, okay.
What's TikTok?
Oh, you know what TikTok is? You grew
Oh
up
yeah,
there.
I do. Yeah, I do.
Yeah. Oh shit, that's a thing still. Like, yeah. I will say that one thing that this has delighted me in playing is that, like, I can only imagine how hard it is for people who write time travel stories, because clearly everybody has a slightly different view on everything. It's hard to keep straight. So anyways, Rook and Rowan will have a boat for you, and Rook is very good at vehicles. He is an ex-Navy SEAL, and he can get you onto that island in a window of opportunity, you know. Kill the, you know, gun the engine, kill it, and it's close enough to New York and Long Island that, like, traffic is not uncommon. So I think I said, even when you call on a contact, you just roll with expertise typically, right, Alan?
Yeah, in effect, I've spent stress to have this, so now I'll roll for Rook.
Yeah,
as if I had vehicles.
Would everyone like to declare their load? And if ever there was a time that you could probably get away with heavy.
Heavy, huh?
Yeah. Because you could go strapped up here, but you will need to declare your safe house benefit to get access to some of those things, or call in a contact to get weapons.
But there's no, like, this is still some kind of an intrusion, you know, object. What is it
In
called?
theory, at least. I think
Well,
we're
I mean,
hoping
like,
Mr. Clock is going to find a face from somewhere.
yeah, I mean, the thing is, right, is that, like, when the SAS go in, right, they rarely go in like just shooting everybody at first. They go in quietly and then they shoot people, right? Like, every operation starts off with, we hope that they don't find us until we're in the key position, right? That's strategic. I think that RPG players tend to be like, it's stealth or guns blazing, and there's nowhere in between. Stealth usually leads to the fight, right?
Yeah, my question was,
the guns are blazing and normally to get out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you do what you want and then you get the fuck out with it. Yeah. So, like, it's a case of, you want to be loaded for bear for the way out. There's no way at any point that you get noticed on this, and it looks like you're going to get noticed on this no matter what, unless you pull off some fucking ridiculous shit.
Quick question. With tactical weaponry, is it possible for an assassin to have access to, say, an assault rifle without checking tactical weaponry at the safe house?
No.
Okay, so the type of stuff we have has to be declared prior to, like, okay, got it.
When you use it, you declare it from the safe house. Basically, it's an open question until you've declared it. Heavy weaponry would be, you know, the rockets, the explosives, the heavy machine gun. Tactical weaponry will be like the Uzis, the silencers, that kind of thing. Everyone can default have access to a handgun, or, you know, I'd even throw in, like, you could get a crappy single shot rifle kind of thing.
So we can only have 2 contacts marked, correct?
No, as many as you like. But,
you know, as long as you spend the stress to declare a call and a contact, you create it when you call on them, or you call on one you've already declared.
Yeah, and I'm thinking about consolidating the contact list, maybe to have like a team contact list rather than a player contact list, because in my experience, everyone always calls on the established contacts rather than.
I mean, there's at least 2 of us who have Agent Rowan as a contact.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but anyways, in any case,
basically what I'm just thinking is, I think we're going to need tactical weaponry, and we may also need explosives, but call in a contact for the explosives.
Yeah,
because that's a maybe, as opposed to we're going to need heavy weaponry.
Yeah, that sounds good to me. That's a question that we can establish that you're all taking heavy, I think, right? So why don't we see Agent Rook's Navy SEAL skills? You're muted, Alan.
I am. So I will use Agent Rook, and I will put my own stress dice on the line. Just check that. Ooh, yeah, okay. Here we go. That is 5 on the stress dice. I will mark stress, and we coast in under cover of darkness.
Nice. Yeah, you slip in perfectly. You know, there is a moment where Rook just dips all the lights and just drifts like straight through as he sees the boat go by, and he comes in, and you are on like I think you're on like a rib boat, you know, because it's fast, it's quick, it's efficient, and it's quiet. And Rook just nods at you and says, "I'll hold this." As you come into like some, you know, bush of trees and stuff, and he pulls out like a camo net, ghillie sort of camo net over the top of it, and he goes like, "Look, Rowan told me this is all I needed to do for you. No more questions, no more things. Right? I'll hold it. You do what you came here for."
Yeah.
Yeah. And I owe you for making me throw up my fucking lunch. Cool. So you're on the island. You're all on the island. What's next, Mr. Clock?
Yeah. I will suggest that we tick tactical weapons because that allows us to have silenced weapons, and we kill a roving patrol and do some face-off. And I was thinking of also doing a bit of the good old scene from Silence of the Lambs. Maybe we could have somebody sort of like injured, make it look as if he's injured, but isn't. We could use that to get 2 people in the house, hopefully, without too much ado. People's opinion? Sounds good.
If you're cutting some person's face off, Professor Vogel will roll for stress.
You don't have to see me cut his face off.
Oh no, we're definitely rolling for stress when we get to that point. Like 100%. I'd give Horst XP or a Benny or something if I could for that. Yeah.
At some stage, Mr. Clock will have a different face than the one that Vogel knows.
That is true.
You have seen that already. You just weren't present for what he did to get that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it was quite convincing from what you remember. It's probably going to be less convincing when you see him actually harvest it. So I think that is, I don't think I'm going to make you roll to investigate to find like a patrolman or anything. I think it's just a case of one of them is, you know, they are patrolling. It's going to be a case of like rolling to confront them, and who's going to do it and how are you going to do it. Mr. Clock, are you going to, or is Felicity, or?
Well, I would like to default to the expert killing machine. So yes, I mean, if you want to put 2 there and we have to take out 2 of them, I mean, I'm more than happy to play second fiddle.
Let's say 2, you know, 2 of them, because it makes no sense to me why you would ever have a single person patrolling anywhere, frankly.
Would I need to mark for a knife, like an inventory slot for a knife?
Yes, I think it's on there.
Okay.
That's the benefit of Michael's clause, is that he never has to mark anything to have a knife.
But I mean, I have declared tactical. I've declared tactical weapons. You can have a silenced
pistol,
automatic weapon.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if we're trying to get 2 faces, or well, you know what? Actually, no. Just silenced tactical rifle.
Okay. So 2 guards are going round. Let's see you roll to confront them then, Felicity. And I think there is 1 risk die here.
Really quick, I don't need to mark for a silencer, do I? I don't see it on the list.
No,
okay.
No.
All right. So 1 risk die, expertise, deadly, stress, rolling. And that is 6 on stress die. And
wow.
6 on risk.
Ooh.
And 6 on risk. Okay. So on the 6 on the risk, then they are just mooks. So could you roll the consequence die?
Sure thing. And my stress just automatically goes up.
Your stress automatically goes up. You mark intel.
I did. And I'll roll stress to see what the consequence is. That came out as 6 again.
Oh dear. Is that right? No, you want to roll high on a. Yeah, you want to roll high on the rest one. Yeah. So it doesn't hurt you. You just you mark, but you do mark intel
Again?
Yeah.
Okay. Wow, I'm starting to actually get into like I usually do now.
And you again roll for stress, I think, right? Is that right? Because what's essentially happened here is you have expertly gunned down these 2 mooks, I think. And as you're moving up close to get them, one of the ones that you thought was dead lunges up and stabs at you with a knife, like screaming, like muttering, like gasping something in Russian, is like the hole in his neck, like he's clamped it down and he wasn't quite hurt, but then he bleeds out just on top of you. And you roll for stress are you getting rusty?
Considering that I just rolled a 1, I think I see that he's like still kind of moving, and I just put 2 in the chest, close range.
Nice. So, Mr. Clock, I wonder, do I get you to roll Harness the Dark to take someone's face off with your thing? I think that's the way the rules are leaning towards. Because before I gave it you very generously as a benefit from an investigation from a dead body, whereas here I think.
Well, I'd like to say it's advantage of having the hands that I don't have to.
Having the hands is how you can do it though, without having the law ability.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. That's how I imagine the sort of mutations working, is it gives you access to a move that you would otherwise have to dedicate a whole skill slot to, but in specific contexts, kind of stuff.
Well, what's the skill slot?
Law.
Okay.
The librarians, the new librarians move, which is like do magic basically. That Alan's got.
I know you want to use the face-off thing, but you do have just disguise, Paul.
Yeah, I do have disguise. Therefore, I'm saying it pretty much should be free.
Yeah, if you had disguise though, but like disguise lets you be a random mook, right? Having the face-off lets you be literally Vlad, the guy.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. I don't mind.
Like Henry never pretended to be anybody that like the individual person knew, kind of thing. She pretended to be a secretary or whatever, right? Like whereas you are Art Rackham, you are going to be Sven, Vlad, whatever, right? You are going to be fucking that guy, and it'll let you get much further than just being like, I belong here, kind of thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. So what was it? Increased stress by 1.
Yes, and then roll with as many dice as you'd like to include
there. Expertise and normal dice. 3 and a 2.
That is going to be Harness the Dark. It's just the same as doing something else. So on a 1 to 3, I will say that it's.
I will spend my false faith.
Nice.
Boost.
Nice. Okay. So I think that's another point of stress to spend your expertise.
Yep.
And I could have also just offered you to take it, and I'll just mark heat.
No, because I'll do this, and then I'll look to do a seek relief move.
Cool. Sorry, I just had to familiarize myself with the mixed result, with the last result for that one. So yeah, you do the face-off. Professor Vogel, let's see that roll for stress as Mr. Clock bends down and his hands
I think
open, prod, and measure.
In any case, Vogel will turn away and what's it called? Like not pew, yeah. Like what is it called? Retch?
Yeah.
Gag.
Yeah.
Vomit. Take your pick.
Everything up until the vomit, I think Horst is talking about. Yeah.
That's it. Stress. Let's go. I rolled a 3 and my stress goes up by 1. And you hear him like under his breath cursing in German.
Nice. So who's going to lead you through to the building now that you've got, I think one of you can have the clothes of the other guard, you know, like the basic disguise. And if you declare the disguise kit, you know, that will say that you've got basically their shit on top of your stuff, you know. But Mr. Clock,
Michael here.
yeah, but Mr. Clock is definitely 100% just looks like Vlad.
Okay, so the rest of my plan was I'll carry in somebody with a sort of the other face. I will just slice off, turn it inside out maybe so it looks really bloody. But yeah, that scene from you know, Silence of the Lambs, where he's in the ambulance, and you know they think he's not the person he is.
Yeah, that is a grim scene. I love it. Yeah, Felicity then. So you going into the building?
Let's just pause, take a knee, have a condor moment, discuss with the other two. Yeah, so I think I've got a way of getting me and one other in. What do you two either want us to do when we're on the inside, or are you going to get your own way in?
This has to be about getting Reaper inside so she can take out whoever is in that door or who is in that corridor or the room adjacent. Because we know there's somebody in every room or access way. Mm-hmm. So you can get across the threshold. You need to take that person down so we can then follow up.
Okay.
Yeah, what my thought was, Clock takes Michael in, and you cause a distraction on one side of the house, which is going to draw at least attention. It's not going to pull the guard away, but it'll give an opportunity to like actually get the shot in without having to worry about the guard looking at us. Vogel follows me in, and well, I figure having the fairy tale expert.
My major, I think the real question is, where is it kicking off in your original plan? You know what I mean? Like, who's going to be the sharp? Where is it that you're going to go? Are you going to try and sneak everybody in by taking out one person in there, right? And opening a doorway, or are you going to go loud somewhere and use that to distract people as you go in quietly the other way?
We should go as quietly as possible as long as possible. I like the idea of opening the door for us.
Cool.
Kill them with a knife, with a silencer, whatever.
So Vogel and Quinn are going to mount up outside, like, you know, just in the tree line from the house, and Clock and Enders are going to go in with the.
No. Clock and Reaper go in.
Yeah.
Clock and Reaper go in. The killer goes in.
The killer goes in, clears the room. We come in. They go into the next room, clears the room. We go in.
Nice. Okay. Go for it then. Let's see you pull this off, Mr. Clock, as you on the door, right?
Yeah.
Vlad, is that you?
Let us in.
What the fuck, man?
Let us in, man.
Holy shit!
Look
what happened to Jürgen?
Something fucked up, man. Something fucked us up.
Roll to maintain your cover.
How many dice is that?
That it will be at least your normal dice and your expertise dice.
Okay, here we go.
If this is harness the dark at work.
No, it's not.
No, it's just its disguise. The harness the dark was to establish the disguise using this face of a guy, right?
1 and a 2.
Oh dear. Maintain your cover. You're blown.
Can I just shoot here?
I
think get the shot off quickly enough that doesn't happen.
No, but you can certainly confront him before he scrambles to pull out his gun and move.
Just to choose to either get caught or mark heat and flee for your life.
Yeah,
the option.
Yeah, it is true. It's the option. Paul, are you going to run away, or are you going to get in the car? Yeah. So, yeah, I didn't think that was going to happen. So, yeah, I think he believes. He believes that you're Vlad, right? But the problem is is that Felicity, even that Silence of the Lambs stuff, right? He's like, what the fuck? And then he's like, wait, that's
I
not
have
the other
orange
gun.
hair and I'm a woman.
Yeah, yeah.
This is why I was thinking like Michael should go in.
Well, yeah, but as he pulls out the gun, that is the perfect time for you to suddenly slip out your weapon, right? And let's see her confront Felicity.
So how many risk die am I rolling?
You're just rolling the 1 risk die.
All right.
But he has a heavy shotgun, basically.
That is a 6 on deadly and a 3 on risk.
6 on deadly. Well, roll for intel. Well, not roll for intel. Mark intel. Roll for stress. As you just murder this guy.
Stress is 3. Yeah, that's lower than my current stress, which is 4. So I mark intel. Yeah, he's down.
Cool. You got a route into the building?
Yeah, well, we at least have a foothold and we know we're supposed to go.
So the other 2 can hustle over and get in.
I would like to seek relief from the horror, please.
Okay. How would you like to do that?
I'm going to be explaining to Professor Vogel how I've managed to protect my brother. And then we cut to the Rocky Mountain Health Resort to find the present day Michael Enders going from room to room saying, Peter, where are you? And I would like to add Peter to the target list again.
Nice. Okay.
I would like to spend intel to lower stress.
Nice. You're on the ground floor of the building. You know, you've got your way into what looks like a kind of, like a kitchen area. It's, there's just like an open table. You can see there's like a stack of cards in the other room. This guy was the one who was waiting out here, but this seems to be like where the rest of them come and change shifts, basically. There's a dead body there on the ground, like it was violent, right? Like when someone comes in here, they're going to know that it happened. But the door leads onwards into the rest of the building. And from the blueprints that the basement stairs are just down in the landing. The building is, you can hear, like as you all hustle in, you can hear voices in the other rooms, like through the walls. I can hear the footsteps of other people.
Quick equipment mechanical question. The Pied Piper has a pipe. Mm-hmm. If we declare air defense as equipment, does that? Yeah.
Earplugs.
That sounds pretty good. Yeah.
But would we be able to understand each other then?
If you have noise cancelling, it's not earplugs, it's noise cancelling headphones, right? Like you are going to slip out a pair of, and they can have a comm system inside so that you can talk to each other. But what I will say is that it's going to remove your expertise for a lot of stuff that would really rely upon your hearing, like I know that like taking a shot doesn't involve like your hearing particularly, right? But I will say that like surviving a firefight in a close quarters requires being able to hear the guy running up behind you or something, like, so it will have a cost associated with it, but it will protect you from the Pied Piper's thing. I don't think I'm spoiling too much to say that his powers are based off his pipe, right? We're all familiar with the fairy tale.
Unless it's a smoking pipe.
No, we clarified that.
Oh, damn, I should have thought of that, Paul. That would have been so good to fool you with that. Yeah.
I thought it was a smoking pipe or a lead pipe, actually.
A lead pipe.
Hey,
you do what I say or I hit you with a lead pipe. Yeah.
Look, we just clear room by room by room by room.
Okay.
Using Felicity as the point of the spear.
2 guys in the next room.
2 in the next room.
2 in the next room.
All right. So
standing on either side of the in the hallway, they're standing on either side of the door in full view of the the steps that go down into the sublevel.
Right. So are we doing this? Are we doing one roll to take them out, to take them both out, or do we have to roll? Do we each have to roll?
You go first, and we'll see if there's anything left.
Yeah.
How about that?
All right.
Yeah, it'll be 2 risk die.
2 risk die. That is a 6 on expertise and 6 on both risk die.
See, this is what I mean. Puckett can acquire the intel at a rate of knots once the shit hits the fan, because he's rolled 666 so many times in this session, I think. Mark intel. And yeah.
Roll for stress.
Roll. And also roll for the, well, ooh.
Stress is 6.
Stress goes up. And
you know, I'm gonna unmark that intel, so no, stress doesn't go up.
Fair enough. And you also roll for the consequences.
All right,
Roll
I'll roll those. So I'm just rolling 1 die for consequences, correct?
Yes. But if they have heavy weapons, Alan, does that not change that?
Then no, I don't think it does.
Or is heavy weapon just add an extra risk die?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that might have been 3 risk die on it, but
it doesn't matter. Yeah. Fair enough.
Okay. That is a 5 on expertise. Do I add intel from the 2 6s on the risk die?
No. You know, you just had one intel.
So yeah, it's 5 on the risk, or on the
cool.
Whatever you call it.
It's, you know, I think that your shots are silent. Their return fire is not. It doesn't hit you, but it is loud.
All right. Is there anything that I can do about that?
No, because well, I suppose I can offer you is the extra benefit that you kill both of them, or that you kill them before they get a shot off, I guess, but they hit you. So they must have got a shot off.
No, well, I mean, you can treat that as plot armor, given their mooks. It's never going to do any real harm.
It's true, yeah. Go for it. Anyways.
So could I mark, say, my specialism to keep them from getting a shot off?
No.
Okay.
Because you already rolled a 6. So it's the question is your benefit going to be kill them both, or is it going to be get them both before they make any noise?
Well, but that's, no one's ever, it's take 2 of them or take 1 of them quietly.
Yeah,
and then
take 1 of them
Mr.
quietly.
Clock has to
That's
get
what
involved.
I meant. You're right, yeah.
No, we're all there now. Don't be looking at me in this direction, because
Okay.
I will purposely hesitate.
Michael will step up.
Yeah. Boomf. The other guy ducks behind the corner and he's like, what do you do, mate, Gilgamesh?
Michael will simply jump over the whatever obstacle and knife him.
And charge him. Okay, that's two wrist die.
Okay, so 2 wrist die, hand to hand. How am I off for stress? Okay, we'll put a stress dice in there. What the heck? That's a 5, not the stress die, and no wrist die causes me a problem.
Nice.
So I will simply drive the Dewclaw into his
straight through him. Yeah, which
and
is
he dies quietly, choking on his own blood.
He dies, and you're there at the foot of the stairs that go up, and it's all quiet for a second, you know, and then you hear a voice upstairs. Listen, I don't know anything about this. I thought I was going to a resort. What the hell, man? Like, what's going on? And you hear quiet. And I'm going to mark 2 heat, and I'm going to throw young Peter under the bus, and I'm going to mark the complication that there is an innocent on field, and upstairs from your target is Gilgamesh's brother, Peter, who has been taken by the Koschei mafia, intercepted on his way there, and is upstairs in the thing.
Can we establish who has the ear protection? Because Vogel hears nothing except what the other members talk over the thing. So Mr. Clock hears nothing.
You have to declare 1 slot for ear protection.
Yeah, I've done that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've taken ear protection as well.
Yeah, so I don't believe I've got ear protection.
Well, no, I think what Horst is saying here is clearly we're at a bit of a party split stage because there's upstairs, downstairs. So people going downstairs might not need air protection unless there are 2 Pied Pipers.
Yeah, well, Michael doesn't think twice. He heads upstairs.
Oh,
The fact
Nice.
that you might need his magic to open a goose is beside the point, really, at this point.
well,
No, that wasn't the complication. No, didn't say requires magic.
Hmm.
That's not listed as a thing. No. Puckett's large gun will do that.
I mean, we've got. Michael actually has knives. Just hiss. Anders, what the fuck are you doing? Basement.
Somebody go with him.
I'm already left the room.
Yeah, he's already up there.
I think
I'm heading to
Vogel
the
then
stairs.
has to be going because I have the ear protection, I think.
Yeah.
And
Go with him, Felicity, because we think there's only one basement. There could be a lot more moops upstairs. We know that there's only one bloke guarding that box. Hopefully, me and Vogel can take it.
Fine. And I am marking ear protection.
So,
I assume that's only 1 tick on the gearbox.
yeah, it's 1 tick on the gearbox. Yeah. So, Michael goes up the stairs, pursued by who was it who said it? Sorry, I was
Followed
Quinn.
by Felicity.
nice. Quinn. Quinn goes up. Clock the basement level. 2 more dead. The house still seems unalerted. You know that down in the basement, though, you still look like Vlad. That might give you the second opportunity to get past the first guy.
Let's do it.
Nice.
2 dice.
2 dice.
Well, what the hell? Let's put the stress one in there as well.
Oh, that's a 6. Everyone's rolling really high. You get a point of intel.
Let me do that first. Then I need to roll for stress.
Then you need to roll for stress.
3 under. Excellent.
Nice.
That's the best it can be.
Gilgamesh's muttered words of "They're coming after our family," even before it all goes wrong. They're coming after them. Doesn't trigger anything in you. You know you can change all of this. So
As easy as I can change face.
And the guy on the door, big, mean-looking guy. I've marked another complication. There are 2 special operators down here. Essentially, they are not mooks. No, they will make you roll flat on the risk die, on the consequences die, and they have a higher stress pool and everything. But the first guy is guarding the very bottom of the basement door, and Vlad, you're not on shift, and he's going to let you come right up next to him, basically, like you are right up, and he thinks that you are Vlad, and he's going to just.
You're right, my friend. And I'll sort of go to hug him and then shank him, hopefully under his sort of body armor, get right in the ribs.
Yeah. So as you pull the knife out, that's when we cut up to upstairs as Enders comes up onto the top floor.
And kicks in the door.
Just kicks in the door straight away.
Stay away from him, you bastard.
And your brother, Peter, is dancing around the room as a man in the corner plays a pipe. And then he stops, and Peter sags to the floor and goes, "Michael, wait."
I don't wait for conversation at this point.
Okay. Are you going to go straight for him?
I'm going to try and banish him from the room.
Oh, okay.
Or as far away as I can. I'm going to
there's a
harness
risk.
the dark.
You're going to harness the dark. I think this is harnessing the dark to take them out. And I think you're rolling forest die here.
Okay. And because I'm taking them out, I get the bonus die.
Yeah.
And I'll add the stress die as well.
And because you use the headphones, right? Have you got the headphones on?
I have.
Then he doesn't cancel out your expertise.
Okay. So yeah, I'm gonna just
Go
take
across
into
the room.
pieces.
Yeah.
That is a 6 on the stress die and no 6s on the risk die.
Nice. So what do you want your extra benefit to be?
Well, I'm assuming that he's going to take more than a single stress, so I'd like to apply 2 stress to him.
Nice.
Oh no, I'd like to apply 1 stress and throw the pipe across the room.
The pipe goes flying across the room. Felicity, you're right behind Gilgamesh as he comes in, and the piper rolls away from Gilgamesh as Gilgamesh like slashes him across the chest and snatches that pipe out. And the piper stands up and then goes and whistles. And that's when Peter lurches towards you off the floor, like, and it can't control his compulsions, and he's going to attack you, Felicity. And that's when we cut back down to Mr. Clock pulling that knife. Roll to confront. It's a, you know what? I'm going to say it's only a 1 risk die because you got the complete drop on him because he knows Vlad. He smokes with Vlad. You know, Vlad's a nice guy.
All Russians smoke.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to go stress, expertise, normal, 1 risk.
Yeah. Ah, would you look at that? 5 on the normal die. Cool. So he is an operator. So on a 5, you do 1 stress to him, right? But he does have more stress than just 1 because he is a more significant thing. But describe how you fuck him up basically without him.
Yeah, I think that, you know, this is in his kidney shank, you know, with the knife under his body armor. So yeah, you know, and he's sort of reeling in pain. Vlad, why?
It goes, Vlad, and then he lurches out, but he's got quick reflexes, right? And he goes, Vlad, you motherfucker, and like just cracks you back across. Not enough to hurt you, but enough to give himself some time. And he's fumbling out the gun and like kicks the door behind him open and like spills back into it. Vogel, you were just at the top of the stairs. Is there anything you'd like to do?
I would like, is there, what's it called? Like a railing? Is that called a railing? Like
yeah.
I would like to slide down the railing, shooting my stun pistol.
So I think this, because this is a basement stairway, right? Like I think there's maybe a railing on either side of the wall, and you can like jump up, put both feet on it, and then slide down like 2-handed shooting.
Well,
an old man who normally wears tweed doing this badass kung fu move.
I will have a muscle ache the next day, that is for sure.
Yeah, so roll all 3 dice if you want to include your stress. Declare the weapon that you're using for it.
My weapon is a stun gun. Where's the stun gun?
Stun gun, nice.
Can't find it.
It'll be down as taser, I think.
Taser, yeah.
No, tranquilizer gun.
Oh, right.
If you just want to put in taser 1 slot, like whatever, just mark off a slot and write in taser. To be honest, I mostly treat the gear list as like suggestions rather than.
Yeah. So it's a stun gun.
Yeah.
And I roll. Let's see.
I actually would probably remove trank guns because they're silly.
So the normal die, the expertise is the hand-to-hand thing, right?
Yeah. As you slide in over the top of Mr. Clock as he staggers down right from this kick, and you're going to come spilling over the top of him like, oof. Hold on there, boy.
Excuse me, I got a 3. And I do need to roll risk dice.
You do. You need to roll 3 risk die because he wasn't ready for Vlad to put the knife in, but he is. I think no one's ready for Professor Vogel sliding down the stairs towards him, crotch first. But
so I got a 3 on my normal die, like my die, and a 6 on the risk die.
Oh dear, that does not look good. And you do not have any expertise for that. On a 3, you fail, or I will offer you success at a cost. I will say that you mark that you can do it, but you will lose your expertise.
Interesting. I'll take it.
Yeah. So you've lost your expertise, and what did you roll on the wrist die?
A 6.
So now you have to roll for your harmful consequences, and you're rolling flat.
Which means 1 die.
1 die.
I just take the gray die.
Yeah.
And it's a 2.
It's a 2. So the consequences are serious. Tell control if it's mortal, you fill your stress track and crack. It's bloody, you'll die after 1 more action without medical treatment, or it's painful. You cannot use your expertise until you get medical treatment. And oh yes, you've just checked off your expertise, so you can't use that one. Oh, it's almost like I had that in mind when I offered it to you. So are you gonna fill your stress track and crack, or are you gonna be fucked up, basically?
Fucked up means I'm alive but bleeding out, right?
No, it means you can't use expertise.
No,
No, he's already lost his expertise because he chose that as the consequence of his last one.
Okay, could he take body armor?
He could take body armor.
Good.
Now we're talking about system mastery. Obviously, because you should tell me these things.
I forgot about it, to be perfectly honest. I was too happy with the fact that I managed to direct it. Yeah.
No, I meant will.
Yeah.
I mean, I can.
I take the
ceramic.
criticism. I should have done. Yeah. Bulletproof stab vest would take you. Ceramic inserts, I feel, is more like a thing you take on top of the stab, right? Like, oh.
They're 2 very different things.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
cool. Yeah. So take whichever one you want, Lost.
I'll take the ceramic one because it sounds cooler.
And it will protect you twice. It's already protected you once. Good on you.
Oh, so I do have to untick one of the. No.
No, you have to tick anything. Just remember.
Don't
Okay,
worry.
I do.
Cool. So
Upstairs.
nice. Like bang, 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 bang. Like the gun goes off, and like Vogel goes. Like stumbles on top, like crashes on top of this guy, and you are going to take him down, basically. He twitches on the floor, and that's, when you hear the other guy, what the fuck is it? So there is one more, but he is alerted. You have no drop on him because he knows the thing. Upstairs, Michael, roll for stress as you see your brother dance to the Puppeteers tune.
Yeah, because I do owe you a roll for stress on that.
That's
6.
what I was going for, yeah.
That's a 2. Given I'm already on 4, that's not a problem.
That's not going to cut it. Yeah. Sadly, it's not the first time that you've seen him dance to another person's tune. But this time you can stop it. So Felicity.
Yeah.
This kid is coming at you. And Gilgamesh probably screams something out to the effect of "Don't kill him."
So
But we're wearing ear protection. Oh no, we can hear one another.
Yeah.
it just mutes the Piper. It mutes the Piper effect. Is the Piper behind him?
The Piper's down. The Piper is. It's not. The Piper is behind. Is like Gilgamesh is between you and the Piper, and Peter is coming at you. Basically, Peter is your problem right now. If you don't do something about Peter, he is going to. He is grabbed like a glass bottle from the table, and he's going to try and kill you with it, basically.
So there's literally no way that I can shoot the Piper.
Roll a 6 and choose your additional effect. Maybe you can, but right now you're going to have to confront Peter.
Okay.
I will remind you that we tend to treat confront as kill. Confront it starts by saying declare
what you're going to do.
Like.
Yeah. It's just because mainly you're using it against people who you're pretty sure you want to kill. But yeah, confront is like do anything really.
Yeah, but okay. I mean, there is some sort of physics coming into this. A gun kills people.
Yeah, so don't use the gun if you don't.
No, you can't. You couldn't. No, you can't subdue someone with a gun other than by hitting them hard.
Yeah. So I was wondering the D&D one where you can do non-lethal damage with your spear. Well, the spear's about to be a sword or whatever, right? Like bullshit. Ooh, in his bad knee.
So
is that what you're going to do?
I'm rolling to subdue.
Okay.
We'll figure out what subdue looks like based on the roll. Does that seem fair?
Go for it. That seems fair. Roll to subdue. It is 2 wrist die here because Peter is not a trained combatant, but he is just basically driven to just all of his, no thought for his own safety whatsoever.
And I'm not going to roll deadly or explosive here.
But you can roll expertise with hand to hand.
Yeah.
Although you've got your sound deafening things on, right? So I won't give you that because you didn't see it as Peter. You didn't hear Peter like screaming behind you as he stepped up. So he's going to have a slight advantage.
I thought it only blanked up pipe sounds.
No.
And how's he sneaking up behind me?
Because you stepped into the room and he was passed out on the floor. Whatever, right? Like what I'm saying is that like your lack of situational awareness has forced you into position of like you're not at your top end. Basically, you can't use your hand-to-hand expertise for this role.
All right.
It's a consequence of using ear protection to not be controlled by the piper.
Okay. So if I use the deadly or explosive die, does that mean that it's automatically lethal force that I'm using?
I would say so. No. Okay. No, if the game master says no, then fine. Deadly's fine. Go for it.
All right.
Then it probably needs renaming deadly.
Yeah. Okay. We'll work it out.
There is a 4 on the stress die, 3 on the risk die.
Okay, well, that is a success. So, what is the way that you're taking out Peter here?
I've got my rifle out, and I think it's one of those things that's just so simple. Like, I just bash him in the face with the butt.
Nice. Okay, Peter goes down.
I mark stress because the stress die is highest.
Yes, you do. Yeah.
All right, and then because it's tied, so that means I mark stress as well, regardless. Correct?
You should only mark stress the one time.
Okay. So I'm going to spend an intel to not mark stress.
Fair enough. He slumps down on the ground. Like just bleeding. Gilgamesh, roll for stress, please.
Let me see. Here we go. 2 again.
Because that was a heavy hit, but at least it was a hit and not a gunshot like you thought it was going to be. Right?
Exactly. I mean, my hope is that he's unconscious.
Yeah. Down in the basement, the last remaining guard, like the heavy duty hitter, as Professor Vogel stands up coughing, I think, from that bullet that he took on the way down. But with the unconscious guy.
Rambles up and obviously says, I'm too old for this shice.
Mr. Clock, your disguise is blown. Like, he doesn't care that you look like Vlad. He's going to kill Vlad. You're muted, Paul.
I will draw my taser and I will shoot him.
You will shoot him. Okay. So you get to roll your small arms, but wait, he's an operator, so I could say that he has an expertise that cancels out, right? The taser thing. I think I will do because he's prepared and ready, like full on,
That's fine.
So he cancels out your expertise and you roll 3 wrist die.
I'll include stress.
It's a 4.
It's a 4.
You manage to. So is it you need to roll for consequences? Yeah, but is it like it's not a stun gun, is it? Like a close-up one. It's a taser with the prongs that you shoot out, kind of thing.
Yeah, it's the one with the cable.
Yeah. So we're talking like the length of the room, kind of thing. Yeah. Cool. Okay. So let's see what your consequence is.
4.
4. We'll just leave a scratch as that bullet wicks past your face, I think, before the taser comes on. It rips and it unveils the hidden skin below, right? Like leaving a crease in it. And he's like, "You're not Vlad." And then which is just 1 stress on him as he slams to the ground and rolls out of the way.
I will spend intel to get rid of the stress.
Nice. Upstairs, Gilgamesh, what do you do?
pick up Michael, spend my intel to reduce my stress, and head for Rook's boat.
You're going to pick up Peter.
Yeah.
And you're going to leave
I'm going
Felicity.
to leave.
Okay. Wow. I love it. Yeah. Felicity, you crack out, Peter. And Gilgamesh is like, he had the drop on the Piper, right? He had it. And then as you sort of like stagger back, Gilgamesh just pushes past you, grabs this kid off the floor, and crashes out the window. And he's
I have a
left you.
shot on the Piper.
The Piper is in the room, and he smiles and says, "Well, let's dance." And he pulls out a wicked-looking razor blade, and he lunges across at you. So you're going to be confronting him you're in a room, basically.
I'm just going to shoot this silly bastard.
Cool. Okay. So, he's going to cancel out your expertise. Yeah, but you put the mufflers on, so no, he won't do. And this isn't the first kind of action on you. You got him clear in view, so your expertise is still there.
Okay.
Your deadly is still there. Your normal's still there. It's 4 risk die still.
4 risk die. Okay. Six on expertise, 6 on risk.
Nice.
So I'll mark intel.
Mark intel. Roll for stress, and then roll for consequences, because I think that you very clearly see.
Stress is 6, so I'll mark intel to keep that from happening.
Nice. You very clearly lip read that he says the name of your boss. But
expertise is 5, or excuse me, the consequences is 5.
5. Well, it's just a scratch.
Yeah.
As he whips that razor blade at you, it catches your cheek, leaves behind a decorative scar, and then you just cold cock him again with it and kick him back over, get off a shot that leaves him staggered back, and he mouths those words to you, about your boss, but you can't hear what he said about them because you've got your hearing protection on.
And I'd just like to narrate this last little bit if I could.
Mm-hmm.
I just put the barrel of the gun in his mouth and say,
"Oh, he's not dead yet."
Oh, he's not dead yet?
No, he's on his last one, and I will. As you shoot
Can I
him,
spend a stress to increase the harm I do? Intel, nothing.
Intel. Oh, you have 6 on the result, don't you? So you could actually spend and do 2 damage, couldn't you? Actually, here. So yes, you can do that.
Okay, so what do I need to tick?
No, you don't need to tick anything. You don't need to tick anything.
Nothing,
I apologize.
You rolled a 6. You rolled a 6. 2 harm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll just put the barrel in his mouth and say, "Hush now," and pull the trigger.
Nice. Where the fuck is Gilgamesh? Yeah, down in the basement. The guys rolled around. Mr. Clock.
Mr. Vogel's turn now.
No, I know. Yeah, I'm just saying. Mr. Clock has like been clipped. Has like had to duck down behind cover as a spray of bullets, leaving him open. But the guy's tased, leaving him open for Vogel. Vogel, what do you do?
I would like to unload the stun gun again.
You need to fire. I think it's going to need to be. You need to run up to him and subdue him hand to hand. Old man Vogel, because he's already been hit by a stun gun, rolled around the corner.
So he's behind
Vogel's,
cover.
Yeah, and he's fucked up from taking a taser shot. But old man Vogel's going to have to get a bit tasty, I think.
Mm-hmm. I will get close and personal then. I don't see Vogel elegantly jumping over the whatever the furniture is hiding behind. It's more like a very labored movement, but he gets over it and he puts the stun gun.
Well, let's roll to confront.
You could just punch him.
Yeah, you can just punch him.
Yeah, maybe that makes more sense.
Yeah.
It does the same damage.
It does the same damage, and it's not lethal. And I think it's much cooler for Professor Vogel to like kind of thing,
like fisticuff.
Yeah, the Sean Connery move, right? So it is still 3 risk die.
Yes, and Roma expertise.
Oh no, it's only 2 risk die because he's hand-to-hand combat. It's not his heavy weapon, I'll say.
And how am I on the stress situation? Let's see. I've got 3 stress. I will add the stress die. And I also have to roll. This is a 4, and I roll 2 risk die, and that is a 3.
Nice. He staggers up from the taser, right? And he's like, he's pulling out a grenade, and he's like, "We all die together, lad." And then Vogel just comes in with the German cross, right? The Iron Cross.
And obviously he will,
Yeah,
the Iron Cross to the chin, but then he will obviously massage his fist because he's not used to.
Yeah. And you hear a quack from the corner of the room as a duck stares at you in the cage. Gilgamesh, I'd like you to roll to flee for your life, please.
I'm happy to do that thing.
As you have to cross through the incoming Koschei Bratva guards.
Fine. Only military fieldcraft would help, I think. So
I think with carrying Peter as well, you're definitely in a bad position for it.
So hang on, how am I for stress? Oh, I'm not so bad actually. So I will roll without expertise, but with the stress die, just those 2. That's a 3 and a 2. So
You're in trouble. Choose to either get caught or agree with control who or what gets left behind before you mark heat and try to flee for your life again. Now, I couldn't think of a better written rule for this situation,
yeah,
Alan.
Choose to I get caught.
You get caught. Yeah.
Yeah, no question.
Definitely another I'm going to say another 3 goons, right? Just have you, or like as you wander, you're going down towards the boat. Felicity, what are you doing?
I mean, I'm upstairs for still, right? I've got an elevated position. Can I see where Gilgamesh is?
If you declare a weapon that would, a weapon or a tool that would allow you to see further out into the night.
Optics on the rifle.
Night vision.
Oh, sure, that works. So let me mark that real quick.
Nearly getting down to your last inventory box. Only 1 minute overdue.
No space for armor.
No. Oh, fuck, please. I'm going to say that you'll roll 1 risk die because, like, opening fire on these guys with the assault rifles, they will just unload on the top of the building.
Oh, it is silenced though.
It doesn't matter. They can tell where the shots are coming from.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, I'm just going to unload on them. I don't like these guys. Just in general. All right, so there's another box ticked. And go ahead and time to roll. Stress, expertise, deadly explosive. How many risk die am I rolling?
Just the 1.
Okay. That is 2 6s and a 2.
Well, no need to worry about not having armor because you mercilessly gun down these 3 mooks as Gilgamesh is cornered, pinned, standing over his brother, Wolverine style, like claws out as these 3 Russian goons, like, and it's like, no matter what Gilgamesh does, Pete's probably going to catch a bullet, and then the person you left behind in that room guns them down.
If I may, when I still have the silencer on, instead of being like, I think it's just thip, 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 and they just drop with a bullet in the center of their forehead.
Perfectly, yeah.
And then if Gilgamesh looks up, I'll just kind of like do a quick little tip of the hat gesture.
Nice. You guys can make it back to the boat. I think there's no more interest in really like playing out the confrontation here, but I think I'd like to cut on the last scene of Professor Vogel climbing onto the boat with a duck underneath his arm. Does that work for everyone?
Yeah, perfect.
So that are you accomplish the mission, the operation. You have access to Koschei the Endless's soul, his vulnerability, and this hasn't in itself changed the future by itself, but it has given you the means to radically alter the future and take out one of the Queen's key operatives. And you know what I will give you is a benefit, because I've been giving you a benefit for the result of a successful operation, right? So I think what I will give you the benefit of is that his other compulsion is to protect his soul, because that is, you know, he's lived for hundreds and hundreds of years, so you have control of that soul now. If someone wants to write that down somewhere, and then everyone, while we're just doing this, everyone can remove one stress, because I think the objective was to retrieve the soul, right? And you did, putting the ability to kill Koschei in your hands and to do whatever with. And what else is there at the end of the operation? Did you achieve the stated objective? Yes, you did. Did you finish a supernatural? Do occultists count as supernaturals? No.
No, not really.
No.
Pied
So
Piper doesn't count.
The Piper.
he's an occultist.
He's an
essentially.
occultist, not.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And it was a very quiet mission overall, I would say, in terms of what happened. So I don't think that the heat goes anywhere from there. I don't need to raise the heat because you did anything particularly wild. You were on a contained environment. No one from the mafia is going to ring the police.
So heat goes down by 1, in fact, for the successful op.
Yes, I've already done that. Yeah. So that's the end of the operation. Thank you very much, guys. I'm going to pause the recording. I'm going to stop the recording. Say goodbye to the internet.